Joe! ジョーの野郎。鬼姫が完全にぶっ潰しやがって。
Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consumes Cinema. I'm your host, Picking Up the Pieces, and today we have Ashita no Joe, episode 27. So, Dangpei has, basically promised Nishi and Joe, the boxing world here. Stick with me, fellas. I can guide you along the way. I can teach you everything you need to know. We're gonna, get approved boxing license for the gym, and then, it's off to the races. And unfortunately, it doesn't go that way at all, because Dangpei unfortunately has, a very long and sordid history with the boxing community, and they remember and they don't like him at all. It's one of the reasons that Rikishi sent that flower arrangement, the type of thing that you would see at a funeral, to their boxing gym, because he knew, flat out it was not going to get off the ground. They were never going to get approval from the boxing commission, so long as Dangpei is, the head coach and trainer. I feel really bad for Dangpei. He handled it in, the worst way possible, and while it was incredibly funny, and it really was really funny at times, it's also really, tragic. I also know in the back of my mind, when they hit certain roadblocks, there's got to be a way to maneuver around it, because otherwise we wouldn't have a story. So yeah, I think either, they're going to reach out to Miss Shiraki, and, her and her grandfather are going to have a little bit of pull that's going to help these guys out. Or maybe it's a situation where, this boxing commission, controls this region of Japan, and maybe we're, shut out from this region for now, but what about other regions? And, Joe and them could fight somewhere else for a little bit, kind of develop a reputation, and then, it sort of works itself out, because then they start gaining credibility from their matches, fans start talking about them, that sort of thing. I don't know if that's, like, an avenue here, like, is this commission, like, the entire commission of Japan, or is it just of this, region of Japan, which could be the case. I honestly don't know. I don't know Japanese boxing like that in detail. But yeah, I am eager to find out, and I am confident that, something will get worked out. I just don't know exactly what that is just yet. But yeah, I am very eager to get to it. But before we begin, as always, remember to blank, blank, and blank. Still very much a small channel, so every like, comment, share, subscribe that we can get really helps out. Really appreciate it. Patreon link down below. With that, let's get right to it. Baguni kao mega ake tatake 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 ashite wa kiito nani ka aru ashite wa dochi da.
どないしたんや、ジョー。
おっさんに会ってどうするってんだい。
そない言うて、ジョー、せっかく来たんやないか。
Yeah, he's kind of dejected. He had that bridge to tomorrow. He had that kind of psychotic laugh to end, the last episode when Dangpei got arrested and he found out about it. He's not in the best spirits.
丹下断平はたった今釈放と決まったところだ。
Oh.
お久しぶりね、皆さん。
Ah, there we go.
おお、お前たち。よかったな、おっちゃん。なんともお礼の申し上げようがございません。本当にもったいないことでして。
Fancy car.
こりゃあまあ。
東洋一の設備を誇る近代的ジムがキャッチフレーズなの。
大したもんだ。おお、来てくれたか。さあさあ、入ってもらいなさい。
どうぞ。
矢吹君はどうした？
No, he went off to find Rikishi. They've got a lot of fighters.
同時に星が逃げてしまっている。わかるな？
確かに東洋一と自慢するだけのことはあら。
おい、そこの汚ねえの。見学に来たんなら隅っこで見てな。うろうろされたんじゃ練習の邪魔だぜ。
遊び遊びの邪魔しは悪いからな。ほら練習を続けな。ほら、1、2、1、2。
お、ほんだ。
おやめなさい、二人とも。
It was about to be fun.
白木さん、どうもえらいご迷惑をかけちまって。
まあいい。さあ、お茶でも飲みながら話しましょう。どうだろう。我が白木ジムの一員として一つ腕を振るってくれる気はないか。フロントレーナーといえども表面に立とうと思えばコミッショナーのライセンスが必要になってる。しかしや、影の男として矢吹君一人のコーチに専念し、明日の夢を育てる分にはどこからも文句の出る筋合いはない。
Does that mean he can't corner him in a fight? Because then it's a no-go.
広く日本ボクシング界の明日のためにも君が欲しいんだ。
わしはともかくジョーにしても西にしてもこのままでは永久に花が咲かずじまいと決まってるんですからね。そう願いますれば。
おお、それでは。
Joe is reluctant, though. I think he's going to turn them down.
確かに陽子なんかの世話にはなりたくねえ。それにこんなところより俺は涙橋のオンボロジムの方が性に合ってる。しかし
失礼します。
Rikishi.
おう、これは皆さんお揃いで新人王決定戦の出場手続き済ませてきました。一応お伝えしておこうと思いまして。
矢吹くんたちにも白木ジムへ所属してくれるよう今お願いしていたところなのよ。
これから2人、いや西君も含めて3人は同じ仲間だ。仲良くやってくれたまえ。
ああ、よかった。じゃあ忙しいのでこれで。
なんかこう一回り大きくなったような感じやな彼。
Did he actually say yes, though?
やめるよ。
Here we go.
白木ジム入りはせっかくだがご辞退申し上げる。
矢吹君、
理由はあれさ。
Yeah.
あの野郎の面を見ているうちに大変なことを思い出したのさ。同じジムの選手同士は絶対試合ができないというルールをな。
He wants to fight Rikishi.
言ってみりゃそいつがたった一つの生きがいみたいなもんだからな。
Wow.
力士、少年院での決着を今度はお互いプロのリングの上でつけるんだい。
藤四郎にしちゃ威勢がいいや。
ジョー、何するんだ。来い、話せがない。やめんか。ジョー。
Jeez.
青臭い見え張るのも大概にしており。
青臭い。
今力士とスパーリングをやっていた相手はな、全日本ライト級の鎌田という男なんだ。
Jesus.
フェザー級の力士はな、自分より重量のあるライト級のベテランとスパーリングをして、しかも一方的に押しまくっていたんだ。もう昔の力士とわけが違う。全然別人だってことだ。血統書好きの名犬にズタズタに噛み裂かれ、みっともねえ負け犬にされるのがオチなんだ。
豪快に出すのもいい加減にやめてくれねえかい。
Oh no, not near the stairs.
ジョー、あかん。
Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god.
あかん、めちゃくちゃ。何もかもめちゃくちゃ。
おっちゃん、しっかりしてくれ。おっちゃん、売り言葉に買い言葉にせよ。すまねえ、すまね
God, he has to go to the hospital.
え。西、おっちゃんを運ぶんだ。手伝ってくれ。
おい、忘れ物だよ。へっ、野良犬め。
Well, I felt good at least.
涙橋を負け犬の涙じゃなく厳しい精進の涙で逆に渡ろうと言ったのは一体どこの誰なんだい。
ああ、言うた。
橋がなければ橋を架けりゃいいんだい。俺たちの手でよ。なに、打つ手はあるってことさ。ちょいとばかり無茶な方法だがな。ボクシング協会が嫌でも俺たちのプロ入りを認めざるを得なくなる手がな。
He has a plan? Ashita wo mezashite tachiagaru. Tate. 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 Tatsunda Joe. Okay, it took some time just to gather my thoughts. That was episode 27. Really good one. Love this one. So, Dangpei, in jail, the guys are going to see him. They bring him food. And then Miss Shiraki shows up and has all of a sudden, bailed Dangpei out after seeing the paper. They take everybody over to their gym. It's really big. It's literally a high-rise building, multiple floors, state-of-the-art equipment, ton of people there. Like, it's a real, legit, modern boxing gym. And they're kind of just in awe of, everything they're seeing. They get an offer from the Shirakis that, maybe we can't work around, Dangpei's gym getting outright refused a boxing license. Like, we can't do anything there. But you could join our gym. Dangpei could be your guy's coach. He just kind of like be in the background for the most part. So, we're not getting in trouble with the boxing commission. But Dangpei's still there teaching you guys. And, you have access to all this equipment and all these good sparring partners, all that good stuff. Dangpei and Nishi are on board. Joe, really takes his time and thinks about it. Ultimately decides that, he's very tempted. He would love to join this gym. But there's one hang up that he can't, just disregard. And that's the fact that gym mates aren't allowed to fight one another, which means he can't fight Rikishi. And as he said in the episode, that's my reason for existing right now. Like, he literally said that. Like, that was a really hard line. And, it really shows Joe's state of mind where he is with this. Like, I want to pursue this boxing thing so I can fight this guy once more and prove that I am better than him. Like, that's everything to him. So, yeah, like, as tempting as the offer is, he just can't agree to it because, he wants to fight Rikishi again. Rikishi wants to fight him too, so when Joe rejects it, he's actually happy about it. Now, that's not, unfortunately, the end of the story. They leave. Joe has to be physically restrained because Rikishi says big words from an amateur to something Joe says, and Joe gets fed up with it and, starts hitting Dangpei really hard. He just so happens to be right near some stairs, falls down that, and, smashes into a window too. He's really banged up. When they left, that one guy threw, Joe's hat and Dangpei's cane on the ground next to them, said, "Here, you forgot this," basically saying, "Get the hell out of here now." Then he looks Joe dead in the eyes and he calls him a mongrel, so of course, Joe hits him. If the two had fought before, when they first, got into that little scuffle, Joe would have pieced him up easy. He's nothing compared to Rikishi or anybody else. But we did learn some useful information about Rikishi. One is he looks like he's a size bigger than he was the last time the guys saw him, which means, he's built on some muscle. He was sparring with the Japanese lightweight champion, Kamada, I believe. So yeah, the guy has definitely leveled up, and, even Dangpei said he was getting the better of the lightweight champion, so that's something in and of itself. He's not the same Rikishi that they fought in, the Juvie detention center. But yeah, despite the major setback, they have to find some workaround. Joe apparently has some type of plan to kind of force the Japanese Boxing Commission's hand. I think he's going to be successful because, what other route is there for the guys? This is everything right now. And Joe, despite the major setback, is in really good spirits. And I think the guys see that whatever his plan is, he's really committed to it and thinks it'll actually work. So I guess they're going to go along with it. What that plan is, I don't know. Maybe publicly challenge, Rikishi or something like that, saying that, they're being blacklisted because they know how good of a fighter Joe is, and, they won't give him a chance because they know if they do so, he's going to embarrass them and, all their fighters, and probably something like that. I would guess he would just, call everybody out. That's kind of Joe's fashion anyway. But yeah, don't know for sure, and best way to find out is just to find out, and yeah, that's what I'm about to do right now. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. As always, thanks for watching, and peace.